Hey, my dude.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Where do you stand politically since you're on the politics tag?
I am a voluntarist and anarcho-capitalist.
Anarcho-capitalist.
Yeah.
Cool.
Where are you?
Interesting. Um, I'm some sort of leftist. I don't really know yet though, but
Hmm.
anarcho-capitalism. Who do you read? Who works on?
My favorite theorist is David Friedman.
Okay. Fair. Cool. Um, anarcho-capitalism. Can you give me a brief rundown
Yeah,
of
so
what that means?
basically, anarcho-capitalism is a society where all services are provided privately on a voluntary basis, and yeah, it's basically unregulated free market society.
Um, so if it's privately owned, you have to pay for everything, correct?
Yes, unless there's some scheme. Like many services today, you can actually get like a freemium, right? You get some free basic features, and they just show you a few ads here and there, or you subscribe to a mailing list. So that's how they get something out of that.
Um, okay. So in your anarcho-capitalist utopia, do you pay for the police? And when
Uh,
I say utopia, I don't mean to like make fun of you. I
no, it's
like
fine.
in
It's
your dream. Yeah.
fine. I I'm not I'm not that set on having a some for-profit police that I don't know if a society if a certain place wants to have some voluntary communal police that's provided on a mutual aid basis, I'm fine with that. But a police, I think I would be also okay with police being as a private service, as a private protection service, right? So if you leave your house, you pay your friend a couple bucks for him to make sure no one breaks in and does something. That's just one example on a small scale. But I'm also okay with large companies providing these services too.
So what if you can't afford the police?
What if you can't afford? Hmm.
You said you have to pay your friend a few bucks. What if you can't afford that?
You're fucked. No, I don't think it would be. You would either I don't know. You would either move to a place where it's cheaper, or whether it's funded in a different way, or I don't know. I think so these services would be pretty cheap in an Ancap. So, like, I think it would be cheaper than a Netflix subscription, basically.
Okay. So if everything is privately owned, how could everything be voluntary if you have to pay for it?
Okay, so the way I interpret this concept of property, I think that if you mix your labor with a piece of property, it's your property, right? So the way you can do that is by trading merit. So you can do some labor for someone, and then you earned merit, right? That's how you transformed your property. Your property, that is your energy in your body. You transform it into currency, and then you use that currency to attain property. I think you could say that that's not voluntary because everything's already owned. You have to buy everything from everyone. But it's unfortunate that we live in a world where there's 10 billion people, and we need everyone needs land, everyone needs resources. I don't think that it doesn't really make sense too much sense to me to think about it in that way, though.
Okay. So you said, correct me if I'm wrong. You said that if you put your labor into something, then it belongs to you.
Yes, if you do it in a like if you do it without violating anyone else's autonomy, anyone else's property, if you do it through consent of other people, yeah.
Um, so what about labor under a capitalist mode of production? If you're working under a capitalist, it's certainly not your labor. Or
Yeah,
at least
so
your labor power is sold to the capitalist, right? Or sold.
yeah, you have energy in your body, and you have you can exchange that if you choose for money, right? So yeah, you owning something also means owning the risk that it includes, that it necessarily precludes, right? So you, when you get a job, you're essentially delegating your excess. What do you call it? What do you leftists call this labor that's stolen? Surplus value. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
essentially trading the surplus value for an insurance service, and that means that when the company doesn't make a profit, when the services that the company provides aren't seemed as valuable or useful to the society in a way that would make profit, you still get paid even though the CEO is losing money. So if you want, you should be able to work for stocks or get a portion of your pay in stocks. So then you do own all the means of production in the company, but you also own the risk, and you also depend on how well the company will do in that time.
Well, first of all, owning stock is not owning the means of production, but also, if you think that it is, then it's not capitalist. That's like the definition of capitalism is private ownership of the means of production. If the means of production were to be communally or collectively owned through the workers, that's the definition of socialism. It's not capitalism.
So right. So would you say then, if a certain country or a city or place would redistribute all the stocks of every company to all people equally, to every citizen, would you say that that would be collectively owned means of production, and then everyone can do whatever they want with that?
No,
Why
it's
not?
not. Well, if you work for a company or you work for a capitalist, I mean, stocks has really nothing to do with it. It's maybe not a natural capitalism, but if you don't directly own or manage the means of production, stocks aren't a means of production. So if you don't own or directly manage that,
But the way we
uh,
think,
then
but
it's some form of capitalism.
okay, so I don't understand the difference really, because when you own the stocks, if you own more stocks than anyone else, then you're the owner of the company and you own everything that it has. You get to say what happens. I that's pretty much it. That's how I understand it. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, what's the difference between that and mm, owning them in a leftist way?
Well, owning the most stocks doesn't necessarily just mean you get to dictate whatever the company
Well,
does.
yeah, there's some probably things here and there, the differences from place to place, right? I guess. But in my society, I guess that would be it.
I mean, also, wouldn't that not really be in the best interest of the worker? I mean, if the stocks start to crash, isn't that just a doubly fucked for the worker?
Yeah, but that's also how it works for the owner of the company today. And in my society, if stocks start to crash, that's bad. So that's why you wouldn't necessarily want to own the means of production, because it entails owning the risks of production.
Well, not necessarily, because the owner already makes enough money to where he has a cushion fall. And once you start to lose money, you can just either A, lower payment, or more commonly, B, cut workers.
Yeah, so having some money on the side is a good strategy for maintaining, so for being able to work through these risky days, for these through these gray days, right? So I don't see that as a bug. I see it like as a feature.
Is there a name for this? Like owning, redistributing all the stocks to the workers? Because I'd like to read up on it.
I have no idea.
Is there
I'm
like a
just
name for the theory or anything?
uh, is it? I heard something. There's something called distributism. I have no idea if it gets anything to do with this, but yeah,
Okay, well, I'll read up on that.
it's
Um,
interesting. Yeah.
so, explain to me again why the ownership of the means of production for the workers is not in the best interest of the workers.
Okay, so there's I don't know. What do you think about USSR? About how the Soviets did central planning?
I don't think it was very good.
Hmm.
They basically just exchanged. The workers did have more power, but they essentially exchanged capitalists for governmental employees, and then just, especially under Stalin, it just became more and more bureaucratic. It just got worse.
Yeah. So
And Lenin, I think Lenin was kind of ass too. There are a lot of like anarchists argue that Lenin and the USSR and the Bolsheviks abandoned socialism within weeks of coming into power.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because the demolishing of certain unions, and because you have to also realize that different leftists have minor differences in their definition of socialism, but
yeah,
if those minor differences come into play, like it does in the early USSR, it can mean a lot. So like I learned it from Noam Chomsky. I've been reading about it a lot.
I have to look into Noam Chomsky more. I didn't read much of his stuff, but it seems like everyone is always referring to him when talking about stuff here and there.
He's he is a linguist philosopher, but he's most known for his like political commentary. You can email him actually. You can ask him whatever you want.
Really, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I email him quite often actually. It's pretty cool. It's like talking to a piece of history. It's cool. And he responds in like sometimes in like 3 minutes. It's crazy.
How old is he now?
He's pretty old, like 93, I think. But he's still sharp as a tack. He still does interviews and stuff.
Damn, props. Nice.
Yeah, pretty cool. All right, man. Cool talking to you.
Hey, I didn't really answer your question, but okay. Can I put this on YouTube if that's cool with you? I have like a tiny channel. I barely get 10 views per video.
Yeah, man. Sure.
Right, thanks,
What's
man.
the name of the channel?
I'll type my name in here. Hold on. That's it. There you go. Hopefully my recording software worked this time. If it worked, I will upload it. If not, then yeah, I've been having some trouble with it recently.
All right, man. I'll check it out. Give it a thumbs up. I'll sub and everything.
Thanks, man. Good talking to you.
Yeah, of course. You have a nice night.
Good day too, sir. Okay, that was cool. That was more like the stuff I was looking for, I guess. Felt very Ancap versus Ancom debate group on Facebook.